Good day, everyone. Thanks for joining us and welcome to this week's learning session from Training Location. We are an authorized disc distributor for Wiley Publishing, as well as a channel partner with the Ken Blanchard Companies. My name is Bill Harshman, and I'll be your presenter today for this short, informative lesson. As presented previously, we know that the four-quadrant disc model actually houses a total of 12 styles. This lesson continues our increased understanding of not just the four quadrants with which we're already familiar, moreover, how changing proximity or the distance to a neighboring style within a particular quadrant yields a result which identifies a separate, unique disc style. Today's focus is on one of those styles, that is the CD or conscientious dominant style. Where did this come from? Well, as the disk has evolved and become totally computer-based, the algorithms showed a much more robust capability to plot your dot very specifically within one of the four quadrants. Research showed that the analysis and weighting of the results placed the same styles in various places of a given similar quadrant. Simply put, the result was different degrees of the same style in slightly differing preferences and priorities. Well, what's in this for the learner? This lesson will be helpful if you have not taken the disc, don't know your disc style, or if your style is different or other than a CD. And a quick note, any style with two letters is called a combined style. Depending on the sequencing of the combined style letters, the first style letter is more prominent than the second style letter. For example, in the case of CD style, the C is the prominent style. Now, as such, in the case of the combined CD style, much of the criteria, meaning the priorities, qualities, etc., are reflective of the C or conscientious quadrant where the CD style resides. All right, quick summary of the CD style. Let's start with what we know. We already know a couple basics about the CD style, which resides within the conscientious quadrant. The C quadrant, including the CS, the C, and the CD styles, has a pace of cautious and reflective, combined with an agreeableness quotient of questioning and skeptical or result focused. And the brief list of observable descriptors still includes analytical, reserved, precise, private, and systematic. Now, from our model, we also know that the CD style priorities differ slightly than those of the C and the CS styles and include challenge, accuracy, and results. As we proceed in this lesson, you'll notice one or more of these priorities identified in our CD candidate. Now refer to our blog titled Everything Disc Workplace Profile, the 8 priorities, if you'd like to understand more about the priorities associated with the disc styles, specifically the CD. Now, the thrust of this lesson is around the priorities and qualities that tie those aforementioned descriptors together. Let's begin by examining the CD priorities. So, priorities, which are listed around the circumference of the model, are the primary areas where people focus their energy depending on their disc style. Everyone has at least 3. Some have 4, some have 5. Having more than 3 is no better or worse. I'm sharing priorities from the Everything Disc Workplace Profile in this example. The Everything Disc Workplace Profile priorities are unique to you and based on your results. Priorities simply help us understand how our style might be reflected in motivations and behaviors given real life work situations. Now, the important thing to remember is that when things get foggy, such as when there's stress or uncertainty, we seek the priorities associated with our style. Let's review the priorities of the CD style, which are also shared with the adjacent DC style. So first is challenge. The CD may seem skeptical and determined, and they won't accept ideas without questions, and they want to uncover problems that could affect results. So the second one is accuracy. Now, the CD prefers to refine their plans before acting to create the best solutions. They tend to avoid letting their emotions get in the way of objective decision making. And third is results. The CD prefers to deliver quality outcomes efficiently, usually willing to take charge of their projects when necessary and can be counted on to keep things on track. So next we consider the qualities of the CD style. These are similar to the core needs mentioned in previous articles. However, they are less unconscious and more at the surface near conscious, observable behavior. Now, the qualities can vary and are represented in scales. Quick note here. Due to the pairings of styles to form a particular scale, you'll notice that these dual letter designations are shared with their neighboring dual letter mirror. For example, the CD and DC styles are physically paired together, and as such, they share style qualities. Same is true of the DI, the ID, the IS, and the SC. Now, the result is 8 disc scales instead of 12, which you might expect. So we have 12 disc styles contained within 8 disc scales, as shown. Let me note here, though the CD and DC styles are separate and unique, you can consider the CD, DC styles as one scale when it comes to qualities. Let's take a look. Let's review the qualities of the CD DC styles, which include mastery, invulnerability, and resistance. Let's break these down a little bit. Now, for mastery, if you ask the CD, they have a strong need for competency, with their self-worth being tied to their skills. Critical thinking and common sense are their go-to resources. The CD maintains a high standard and can show frustration with any level of incompetence around them. And the CD can seem tenacious and determined to overcome obstacles. Next, invulnerability. The CD expects life to be tough and usually avoids making themselves vulnerable. The CD has a strong sense of self-sufficiency, avoiding reliance on others. They avoid situations that could make them look foolish or incapable. And the CD may avoid public displays of sentimentality, which can seem in their world manipulative. Last, resistance. The CD tends to be skeptical of their environment and often have a fundamental tendency toward resistance. They're proud of not caving to social pressure or accepting inferior ideas and policies. They resist accepting anything at face value. And when the CD notices problems, they are among the first to speak up and are often willing to challenge entire systems that seem inefficient or unfair. Where do they differ, the CD and DC styles? Well, up until now, I've referred to the neighboring CD DC styles as interchangeably in terms of the overlap of their priorities and their qualities, respectively. However, it's important to remember that they are two different disk styles. The unique placement of those dots on the disk model is determined by the computer algorithms I mentioned earlier. I want to share some clarifying, identifying information to help make this distinction clear. The table shows that the two styles share priorities and qualities in the green bars. However, they differ in terms of their other criteria as determined where the respective dots fell within the quadrants on the disk model. Now, to some, these differences may seem subtle. However, lumping these two unique styles together would be inaccurate. One of our cornerstone principles show us or tell us that each and all 12 disk styles are unique and equally valuable. I'm going to leave this just for a moment so you can see more details through this table. Okay, so that was a lot of new, detailed, complex information. What do I glean from this, and how do I apply meaning to my daily life? Well, consider this. There is an implication for leadership. The CD style gets 360 feedback from managers, direct reports, and peers, which point to the lowest ratings when it comes to being too problem focused, being attentive to victories and hopes, showing appreciation or reassurance. Conversely, the CD style got their highest ratings when it comes to being a critical thinker and showing strength. Let's also consider some of the assumptions operating within people who have the CD style. If you're a CD, see which one of these fit for you. I'm valuable if I'm competent. I should always be sufficient. If I'm not in control, I open myself up to disaster. I should have complete mastery in all areas of my life that are under my responsibility. It is undignified to show intimate emotions, and I must maintain my dignity at all times. Now, again, these are assumptions operating within the CD. They don't always guide every behavior, they're just operating in and around the CD's influence. Now, so what? So what is for the CD to consider how they would increase their effectiveness. At a glance, the CD tends to have a higher than average need for competence and for control. They describe themselves using words like stubborn, determined, logical, and critical. They have been known to defend even a bad argument and feel validated by not changing and sticking to their guns. There is less of a tendency for them to get bored with routine compared to other styles. However, this can be a challenge for the CD when major change is facing an organization. So, this lesson can help the CD to increase effectiveness by accepting and understanding their own style, then incorporating what they know about other styles for an improved communication. I hope this has been an increase for your awareness, knowledge, familiarity of the disc, and specifically the CD style. Whether your needs include leadership, onboarding, culture change, coaching, team building, or simply communication 101, DISC is the research based, proven leading training solution. It's impacted more than 8 million learners in over 130,000 organizations and through 14 languages in over 70 countries worldwide. It provides a quick, intuitive way to understand yourself, and it delivers immediate and lasting impact on the performance of people and the culture of organizations. And as always, my mantra: the key to effectiveness through DISC is understanding your and others' styles, then using that knowledge for improved interactions. We have several Everything DISC assessments to help you craft individual and team solutions at your organization. Here's our contact info. And before you go, I'd like to extend to you a resource and a request. I'll be happy to send you a sample PDF of any of the DISC profiles you see on our website. Or if you'd like to discuss a complimentary live webinar introducing DISC or one of the profiles to your team or organization, shoot me an email at info@traininglocation.com. And be sure and check out our learning blog at our website and click on blogs. And keep an eye out for our next article in the series. And before you close your screen, please, we always appreciate your like, your share, your download, and of course, for continued learning, please subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any new content. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye till next time.